Hi everyone, this is Diane, and I have these Traveler's Notebook journals finally finished. I did expect to have them done a little bit sooner, but two reasons they were not finished sooner. One is that I made them a little more involved than I planned. That's pretty typical of me. And the other one is that I had a lot more things going on this week that were unexpected, but not necessarily bad. I had some good fun things going on that I wasn't planning on, but it was just a busy week. But they are done now. The only reason I wanted to get them done this week was because I want to start on the patriotic ones next week. And today is Saturday. It's Saturday evening right now. So let me show you these, and if I can get them photographed and listed in my shop, I'll have them on for sale on Monday. Whatever day you see this video, they're in my shop, and I'm just putting them in at the time you see it. There are 3 journals, and I'm just going to name them by their primary cover color: yellow, green, orange. They all have these 3 colors inside the journal because of the kit that I used. So I used the seam binding that I just got in a Happy Mail from Doris. You have not seen that video yet. That Happy Mail just came, I think it was yesterday it came, and I did video it when I opened it, but I'm going to add something else to it. So I haven't published it yet. So anyway, I used seam binding that she sent me on all 3 journals. Thank you so much, Doris. I really appreciate it. This is the cardstock cover that I chose for this journal. Now, nope, not this one. It's another one I'm going to talk about. I used some metal corners on all 4 corners, and we did a collage, and I did that on video. At least I arranged it on video. I glued it off camera. And a little bit of trim, just to make it pretty. These are mostly digital items. This is a die cut, and then this is a real wax seal, and this is a real doily. And I noticed right after I sewed the journals together that, put way too much on that. This doily was actually 2 doilies. And I was tearing it apart, and I used it on another journal too. And I did not even know that it was 2 layers of doily until that one started popping up. Okay, so let's look inside. On the inside, I just used a digital book plate that I already had printed in my stash. And I used a nice assortment of papers within the journal. Some are vintage. This is a vintage grocer's billhead receipt. It's got a little bit of lace on the top, and if we see the date on the other side, I will let you know. This is a vintage letter, and it's a part of a letter. I think it was two pages, so you only got 1 page. And I put this embossed little piece here, and it's a little tuck spot for this tag that I already had in my stash, but it fits nicely with the theme and everything. There is no theme really, it's just the colors, but it did, as I was adding things, it did tend to have a little bit of a garden-y theme. A little tag, you can write on that or put a sticker on it or a stamp on it, whatever you want to do. This is a genuine vintage envelope, but it's just the front part of the envelope, and this is from 1901. It's addressed to Mrs. J.M. Reed, Binghamton, New York. But down here it says number 36 Butternut Street. Interesting. So that is the original 1901 front of an envelope. The envelope was falling apart. I glued it to cardstock, and I tucked inside this cardstock that I put through my Big Shot with an embossing folder, glued it to coffee dyed paper, and then I added this embossed frame and this butterfly ephemera piece. This is a digital kit I used, and it's called, oh, I can't remember, but it's not available anymore. I've had it for many years in my digital files, and it was from a company called Raspberry Road. They do have a website, and they sell physical products. I don't know if they still sell digitals, but I'll try to link their website for you. But I can't remember the name of the kit. But it's really pretty, and it has these colors, the golden yellows and the greens and the peachy orange. This is an ephemera piece. It looks like a layered piece. And this came with the Raspberry Road kit too, this backing piece. So they're either backed with this peachy color that has designs in it that you can see, or you'll see a cream color that looks like linen or vintage paper or something. This is a vintage ledger page with a gold colored lace, vintage music paper. I think this is actually from the flute book that I just recently got. There's a digital journaling card, and I think that's a Tim Holtz ephemera piece I've had for years. Scrap of cardstock, scrapbook paper, and this is a digital piece that I think I got at Hobby Lobby recently. And here's a little shipping tag. I put this ephemera piece on it. I don't remember what digital shop it came from. That's a digital, and that's a digital embroidered flower. And these are all digitals too, because the colors went well. I know these pieces were from tailor-made journals. I've had those for years too. Here's another of the digital pages from Raspberry Road. It's called something Patches, I think, the name of the kit. This is a vintage linen calendar that you would hang on your kitchen wall. And Lehman had several of these calendars cut up, different styles, different ages. They were cut up and included in the box that I received from her sister. So you got one of Lehman's pieces in this, and a crochet lace, coffee dyed paper. Now my Emily from Polka Dot Pixels is a designer. She has beautiful, beautiful digital kits, and I've used quite a few of them. And she loves to do layering. And she designed quite a few kits for Simple Stories. And to thank me one time I did a journal with one of her kits called Linen Market, and a lot of you went and bought that kit after you saw my journal. And in order to thank me, she sent me a bunch of stuff, including some of the physical items from Simple Stories that were her designs. And this is part of a, what is this, rub-on page. So this was like the size of the whole page, and you can see there are 4 main designs. And I used one of these sheets to do rub-ons in all of the journals. So that's what that is. Looks like some potting, clay pots for gardening. And then she sent me lots of different things, physical things from her collections. And so these little bees were part of some ephemera that she sent me. This is a book from Plain Trigonometry, and I stamped this. It's a Sam Poole stamp by Creative Expressions. So there's journaling lines here, and I just clipped it to the page. Another digital page. This is I guess it looks more like paper than linen fabric, like a handmade paper. That's a background page. This is a typing paper with some typing on it, and this was from a collection of papers that had to do with maritime law. This is just a, oops, I didn't stick that on. Let me see if I can remove the backing on this relatively quickly, because I don't want to forget to stick it. This is a page for planning. It was a tablet that I got. I always have such a hard time with these. And this part is a digital, and I believe that's from the old design shop. Get on there. And I used some of my Mrs. Coggs quotes that I had printed from her. This is a Latin phrase, and then the translation is, "Thus is life, it is what it is." Perfect for a journal, right? Here's one of the Raspberry Road pages with the beautiful daisies, and then I added this beautiful tab with vintage eyelet and a vintage trim. And we have a mulberry paper with a vintage mustard plant seed packet. And that is a pocket. And this is one of the digital pieces. Well, maybe, I think this is a digital actually. And I think these digitals are from Kara Brandon Creations. They're really fun. They're layered. So they were perfect with the Simple Stories layered pieces from Emily. Here's another page from the Raspberry Road kit. And there's the center of the signature. I believe there were 14 pages. I'll have to count them and put them 14 folded pages. I'll put how many pages there are in the description. The other side of the mulberry paper, we have a little illustration from a small book that I had about antique furniture collecting. So there's a little table, and there's another embossed piece in peach cardstock and a tag. Now, I did not embellish the tags that I made in one of the first videos. It was like a preliminary video to this series, and I was just making tags with fabric, wallpaper, and other things. And I said I might decorate them, but I didn't because I spent so much more time on these journals than I thought I would. So I am going to include some extra goodies, and you'll be able to decorate your tags and pages and whatnot. I'm looking around here for the packets of stuff I'm sending so I can show it to you. I'll find it and show it to you. Here is the white side of this planning page, and I stamped this definition, which I love, and the word is effloresce, and it means to burst into bloom or to blossom. Isn't that a beautiful definition? A beautiful word, effloresce. And I included a digital cigarette card with the flowers there. Here's the other side of the typing paper, plain trigonometry book, and here is some more of the rub-on. It's a flower, if you can't tell. It's a yellow flower with a lot of collage elements on it. This is an antique postcard with some daisies and a bee. It was perfect for this journal. It was not used, but it's from the early 1900s. I put it on with a yellow paper clip and a yellow merchandise tag. The flute paper, music paper, and then I put this tab on, punched a hole, added a bulb pin, tiny little tag, and I had 3 little bees left over. So each tag in each journal got a little bee. And I used scraps of the rub-on, so I would rub the main image, and then there might be some remaining stuff on the sheet. And you can see some of it right here. There's still a little bit here. So I rubbed some on the back of the tag. There is a ephemera piece that came with, I think it was with the stuff from Hobby Lobby that I got. I printed a couple extra pages from the kit, and I just cut them up to use for ephemera. Actually, I only cut up one. The other one looks like newsprint, and I ended up not using it. I might cut that up into pieces and put it in your little kits And then I have that die cut butterfly. Some vintage eyelet on the edge there. And this quote says, "If you want to change the world, pick up your pen and write." Martin Luther. Vintage fabric on the edge and a pretty chiffon ruffle. And this is a digital. And this is wallpaper made into a tag. And just a little piece of lace. The other side of the letter, and I just put some orange washi tape there. And this is the other side of that bill head. Let's see what the date is, if there is one. 1913. And I added this wide lace, cream colored lace, as a pocket, and I put another fabric tag in there. I think we already had one with that fabric, so let me see if one of these is small enough. They might all be too big. Yeah, I think, well, I don't know. Let me try. Yeah, it's a little too wide. These are for the bigger journals. So you'll have two with that pretty, it's a beautiful fabric anyway. I wouldn't mind having two of them in my journal. And then we have an orange library pocket with a scrap of scrapbook paper, a digital piece from Cara Brandon Creations, and a library card, and I will put my signature on the back of that. I tied each one with, well, I already mentioned that because it's the ribbon that Doris sent me. I put together 3 packets and I put them in the little baggies so I wouldn't lose the pieces. My table is a mess because I've been coming and going and coming and going and coming and going all week. So it's here somewhere. I'll find it and I'll show it to you before this video is over. This one is the green one, and I love this scrapbook paper. It's got the same trim, the same corners, and we did a collage. This is vintage music paper with texture paste on it. And this one has a bumblebee. This is one of Cara Brandon's digitals, and we have a little vellum butterfly sticker. I did get the backing peeled off of that. There's the book plate, and then we have the same item, so I'll go more quickly. This is also from Lehman, this little ticket or tag, and she stamped on a bunch of this background. I just added these 2 pieces, so I have some of those that I can decorate and use. So you have that from Lehman. This is an ephemera piece from Hobby Lobby. A digital vellum sticker, washi tape. This is a digital I've had for a long time, already printed. I don't know what shop it came from. And you can write on the back of this. Another old letter front. It doesn't show the year on this, but it's very old, like the other one was. These papers that you see with the flowers and plaids, they are the digital kit. There's another layered piece from Simple Stories. Another calendar from Lehman. Here's the rub-on. Sorry, it is late, getting late, and I'm tired. It's been a week, I tell you. You can see here where the pages were removed from the stapled booklet that they were in, so I just left that. Penny for your thoughts. It's the same digital piece that I had on the other page, the other tag. This is green mulberry paper. Furniture book, embossed piece, and a feed sack fabric covered tag. ephemera. I put that in all of the journals, and another digital cigarette card. I think it's actually one I made a copy of because I had a set of these cigarette cards. Another antique postcard. And this one was sent, I think it's 1913, but I'm not sure. With these old letters and cards, most of the time I have a hard time reading the year. I might be able to read the month and the day of the month, but I usually can't read the year for some reason. Another rub-on. Creativity takes courage. This is a digital I've had in my stash, already printed for a long time, so I thought the colors were great with this. And this is wallpaper. I love the flowers on that. A digital tag that was in my stash. So this one has 2 feed sack fabric tags. So we will switch this one out to get a little bit of variety. There we go. And this one will be in here. And this one, I included some of the flat back decorations, embellishments from Simple Stories. That's the green one. And now the orange one. And this one has an orange lace, a hem lace, also from Doris. And I love this embroidered trim. This is the one, I think, yeah. It got caught while I was sewing the signature in. The thread got caught on this. So I am going to put a piece of fabric right across here and kind of wrap it over the edge because it got a little bit cracked and we don't want that to spread. So I'm going to protect that with fabric. I love this card. It's a digital. I think that's actually from the Graphics Fairy. They do have freebies. You have to pay a subscription to print items from their subscription collections, but they have some freebies. And I just searched for labels and got all kinds of really pretty ones. A long time ago, I did that. Pretty crochet here. Another old letter, no date on this one, but it's in Paris. It's French. I don't know how I got an old French letter. That opens up like the other ones did. And there's another calendar from Lehman. I love that. Etc. is the Latin, and it means, and so on. But I think we all know that one. That's a common one that we use. I liked working with these colors. It was fun pulling things from my stash that went with these colors. That's wallpaper. Another embossed piece, and this one has mirrors on it. I put washi tape, the same washi tape across the top of all of those pieces. We have the same definition and another digital cigarette card. And another beautiful antique postcard. This one doesn't appear to have been mailed, but it was written 1913. Wishing you a happy birthday and many more to come. March 13, 1913, 40 years. So it was someone's 40th birthday. pretty butterfly rub-on. I'm not going to try to pronounce this Latin, but it means if the wind fails you, use the oars. This is Speedsack fabric, this piece, and these two are just vintage fabrics. I love these beautiful pastoral digitals. I don't even know what kit I got them from, what shop, but I had two similar, not the same, but I used them, and I used a different one for the third book. Oh, this one needs to have a label. So we didn't have a wallpaper one in here, so I'm going to make a wallpaper tag. I meant tag, not label. I'll put a wallpaper tag in there. And then we have this. I love these journals. I hope you love them too. They are in my shop when you see this video. And I will link my shop below. I will link Raspberry Road's website in case you're interested in seeing what they have. I don't even know at this point. And I don't think I need to link anything else, do I? I'm not going to say goodbye because I'm going to come right back when I find those packets to show you what you're getting with this. Okay, I found them. I set them in a safe place. They were not buried in this mess. This is just the beginning. I haven't cleaned up my space, obviously, so I'll be putting in some scraps of cardstock and some other things along with these, maybe some of the pieces from Simple Stories. But this is what I gathered from my supplies. Remember the haul I just did last Monday with the recipe book, the old recipe book from Syracuse Lighting Company? It was like a little binder. I gave you one recipe page from that book, a yellow small doily and a golden smaller doily. I just picked things that would go with the color scheme. We have some S&H green stamps, a yellow game card for the game about the states. This one is Alabama. I have a green vintage ticket for an amusement park. This is a newer ticket. It's a modern one. Where am I? Okay, I'm having a hard time seeing my screen. This is a genuine cigarette card. I put digital ones inside the journal, but this is a genuine one. Trees in Britain. This is a vintage 1918. I guess it's some sort of a ticket for City Market, and it has a couple punches in it. Some game money in the right colors. An orange lottery ticket. And this is, I got a bunch of these from the flea market. They're printed on somebody's business card. They're all different business cards. But this side is what I wanted, and it is somebody's record of a actually record collection, an album, record album, music. And their rating of the quality of it and what the record contains. I thought that was fun, so I gave one of those to each of you. And there's orange tickets and an orange dry cleaner ticket. That's what's in all of these, and I will be adding more, like I said. So you get a packet of goodies and a beautiful journal in orange, green, and yellow, and nature-y kind of images mostly, and some vintage pages and vintage fun stuff included. And I will see you in the next video, and I hope you're having a creative day. Goodbye.